Welcome to another episode of It's Crystal Clear, a show that's designed to tell your money where to go instead of always wondering where it went. My name is Felicia Young, and as always, I want to thank you for trusting me to help you along your financial journey. Guess what? We are at our 9-month mark. That means there were some goals that you were supposed to have done by now, and I want to know, how did you do? Did you hit your 9-month goal? Or are you still working on those 3-month goals? Or have you even started working on your goals at all? Now, if you haven't even started working on your goals and we're 9 months in, y'all, I'm going to be so mad at you. I do not want you to accept any excuses for why you haven't done anything. Do not let life keep you in the same situation you were in at the end of the year that you were at the beginning of this year. I want you to do better. So if you're doing the best you can to hit one goal every chance you get, I'm proud of you. Just as long as you keep moving forward to make progress, no matter what, keep moving forward. So even if it's you not going to the coffee shop to get a cup of $899 worth of coffee, everything you do to not get more debt or not spend unnecessarily is a win. And I want you to celebrate your wins, no matter how small you think they are. So since we're at our 9-month mark, that means I have gifts to give out. So we had some people give updates on their progress and they were entered into a drawing. And I am going to announce them right now. Our winners for this 9-month challenge are Miss Kelly A., who lives in Tucson, Arizona, who paid off personal loans, Miss Angela J., who paid off her credit cards, Miss Yolanda M., who paid off her car, and Mr. Barry N., who paid off 2 cars. I'm going to get your gifts to you. So congratulations to everyone who's making their way to become debt-free. So now we're rounding our way home to the 12-month mark. I want you to make time to write in detail what goal you want to accomplish by the end of this year. Look back at your list from the beginning of the year. Think about your upcoming year. What can you do within 3 months that will make your year end and begin with a bang? Make time to think about it, write it down, and just do it. So today's lesson is a good lesson. This lesson is called freedom. So I looked up the formal definition of freedom, and this lesson is right on point. Freedom is the power to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. The unrestricted use of something. The state of being able to move around freely. The state of not being imprisoned or enslaved. So a few months ago, we celebrated Juneteenth, which happens to be my birthday. So go ahead and mark your calendars for next year. I wear a size cash. So, although we celebrated this holiday for years in the South, it officially became a national holiday a few years ago. On January 1st, 1863, Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation that stated that all people held as slaves were now free. But it took 2 years for it to be official on June 19th, 1865. Freedom. That's a powerful word, especially for people who are enslaved mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. And since I'm helping you to tell your money where to go instead of always wondering where it went, today I am going to talk to you about the aspect of financial freedom. And I got permission to use someone's real testimony in today's lesson. So, in my church, we are helping people eliminate debt through a program called Free Indeed. This podcast is a part of that program. So, I'm providing useful tools and resources to help those who choose to participate become free indeed from financial bondage. So, recently, I had a married couple from my church approach me, and they wanted to tell me their free indeed story. They have been married for 17 years. They have 3 children, and they are a close knit family. On paper, they are living the American dream. They both have great jobs and they bring in really good money. They have a nice big home, 3 cars, made time to travel and see the world, go out every weekend with family and friends, and they're very active in church. He said they were definitely living the American dream, but he recently discovered they were living another American story, being a part of the working poor. He went on to explain that recently they had a reality check that forced them to slow down, pay attention, and start watching episodes of It's Crystal Clear to help get them back on track. It was about to be Juneteenth weekend. And as usual, they were going to have a big family party at their house. He's a self proclaimed pit master, so he was ready to show off his barbecue skills once again. They invited about 50 to 60 people to spend time with them, but he knew way more would end up showing up as always, so he needed to get prepared. He went to the store a few days before to load up on everything he needed to show off on people's plates that weekend. He went to the wholesale store and grabbed a huge grocery cart and made his way down the aisle. He got a big bag of charcoal. He got slabs of ribs, packs of chicken, packs of sausage, packs of boudin, packs of pork chops, bags of rice for his famous dirty rice, seasoning, boxes of macaroni, bags of green beans, bags of potatoes, ingredients for desserts, cases of drinks, paper plates, utensils, napkins, everything you can think of. He said he was smiling the whole time, imagining how people were going to praise him for making them sleepy with those loaded plates. He made his way to the checkout line. He put everything on the conveyor belt. The cashier rung him up and gave him that big old total. So he took out his debit card and he swiped. The cashier quietly told him that his card was declined. He knew that was a mistake, but just in case, he pulled out his credit card and he swiped decline. He had no clue what was going on. He logged into his bank account. It was negative. He logged into the credit card app. The card was maxed out and a payment was due. He was so angry. He was horrified and he was very embarrassed. He had to leave all of those groceries in the store. He went home to get on his computer so he could see better and investigate. He recognized most of the charges. A few days earlier, he and his wife went on date night. He bought her this pretty purple dress that he wanted to see her in. And they went to the movies. They got a snack. They left the movies and had dinner at a steakhouse. He ordered a big steak, medium well, loaded baked potatoes, steamed broccoli, dessert, drinks. When he saw the high bill on his computer, y'all, he said that purple dress wasn't even that cute for that price. He looked at the total from the movie theater and he frowned. He said that movie wasn't even funny. He looked at the cost from that restaurant and he thought that steak didn't even taste that good. I'm the pit master. Mine was better. He started looking at other charges throughout that month. Fast food for the whole family 2 times a day, almost every single day. Online shopping a lot. The gas station several times a week. And he was like, where in the heck were they even going when they needed that much gas? One of his kids had a school fundraiser. He didn't feel like helping them sell that stuff, so he just bought all the inventory so his kid could just be done with that. He said not one time did they even think to look at their balances or think to not swipe every day. They never had to before. He said this time that mindless swiping put them in a bind and gave them a reality check that although they made great money, because they didn't make time to tell their money where to go, their money was gone. He and his wife, for the first time, made time to go through their finances and made a realistic budget to stop themselves from drowning in debt. The first thing they did was talk about their future goals. Where were they going together as a family? That was something they never did before. They realized they would just go with the flow and do whatever they felt like doing, no matter the cost. Once they made their list of achievable short term and long term goals, they made time to find out how much each of those would cost and made plans to find ways to fund it. Then they looked through their bank statements to see where all that money was going and identify their latte factors. So when the wife looked at some of the names of the stores on the bank statement, she just cringed. She definitely had a shopping habit. And what made it worse was most of the things she bought over the past few months still had the price tags on them. She had forgotten they were even in her closet and she never wore them. So she went and found the receipt to make sure they were still able to be returned. And she did return them so that they can have some money available until they got paid again. They spent more time at home to make sure they didn't use so much gas. And since he was the pit master, he got groceries that could stretch and make several meals out of it over the weeks. That saved more money, like hundreds of dollars, from eating out. So the changes they were working together to make made a huge difference in the way their bank accounts looked. Their credit card had zero balance. Their house had sealable space because it wasn't cluttered with packages and new random stuff. Their family chose Sunday afternoons as prep day. They sat around the table as a family to review bills, make budgets for the week, and they made time to tell their money where to go. He said that decline card that day in the store was a true blessing in disguise. He knew his family was living the American dream on paper, but that day he learned that his family was like millions of others, part of the working poor, despite the good money that he and his family brought in. He said his family vowed to change that narrative. He wanted better for his wife. He wanted better for his children. He wanted better for himself. And in order to do that, they must work together to be better stewards of the money they have been blessed with. So it's been a few months since they started their journey towards financial freedom. And when I ran into them, he said to be free to make choices about where they wanted to spend their money was so liberating. He loves the way he and his wife communicate better. He loves being able to properly plan trips and outings, know what they will spend ahead of time, and come home to no credit card bills or added debt. He said he definitely is having a party for Thanksgiving and he plans to continue his reign as pitmaster. He knows how much it costs because he remembers the card declining. So he's putting money to the side each paycheck to make sure he has enough to buy for his family and friends to have fun. He said he's enjoying this type of freedom. He loves being able to live the life that his family deserves and having enough discipline to live it within budget. I have nothing else to add after that incredible testimony. Freedom. Financial freedom is a state where you have complete control over your finances, allowing you to make choices based on your desires and your goals, rather than being limited by how much things cost. It means having enough income and savings to cover your expenses, giving you the freedom to live life on your terms and within your budget. So, how does that sound? I think it sounds pretty awesome. Well, that is this week's episode of It's Crystal Clear. Congratulations to our 9-month challenge winners. Be sure to share what you're learning and what you're personally doing with your family and friends. And while you're doing that, be sure to encourage them to subscribe and turn on their notifications for It's Crystal Clear podcast. It's on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. As always, I want to thank my behind the scenes team for making time to bring me to you each week. Remember, dream big, stay focused, and live your best life within budget. I'll see you next time on It's Crystal Clear. Have a great week.